Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman, and welcome to part 2 of my experiment to see if we can run my entire home media serving off of a single WD MyCloud PR2100 NAS device. In our last video, we installed the Plex media server on here and found that did a pretty good job of not only recording live television, but also streaming live TV, and it's able to support hardware transcoding as well. It's probably the least expensive NAS device at the moment that can do all of those things in Plex. So it passed stage 1. Stage 2 here, we're going to install the HDHomerun DVR recording engine, and this is going to serve essentially as both a DVR but also as a live TV server for my televisions around the house. And the reason why I'm using HDHomerun for the DVR recording capability is that it's a little more mature for live TV watching as well as time shifting, and I think the recording engine at this moment might be a little more reliable. So we're going to record everything with HDHomerun, but we're also going to share the recording directory that the HDHomerun software does with the Plex server, so I can get the best of both worlds. I can still watch live TV remotely with Plex, but I'm going to record everything more reliably with the HDHomerun product and also use the HDHomerun client running on NVIDIA Shield TVs throughout the house to watch live television, because it will be able to do that without any transcoding, so I'll get the best possible video quality. And just like Plex, the HDHomerun client is available on a number of different platforms. So not only does it work here on the NVIDIA Shield, but it also works on the Amazon Fire TV. It works on a number of other Android TV boxes. There's a version for the Xbox One which shares the same code base with the Windows version. There's a Mac version as well. And then if you have a Linux-based computer, you can actually install an add-on to Kodi and be able to access all the features that you're about to see here through Kodi, which I've covered in prior videos here on the channel. So a lot of flexibility for all of this stuff to work. But the big test is whether or not this is going to pass muster with my wife, which might be video number 3 in this series after she's had a few days to play with this. She's given me a list of all the shows that she wants me to record, so we're going to set up a few of those recordings in this review and get everything up and running. Now, I do want to mention, in the interest of full disclosure, that this WD PR2100 is on loan from WD. They are also a past sponsor here on the channel. The NVIDIA Shield TV we're going to be using today is one that I purchased with my own funds, but they have sent us a unit in the past for review, and we were able to hang on to that unit, but there's no sponsorship relationship here. And then Silicon Dust, the makers of the HDHomerun tuner that is driving all of this stuff, are an occasional sponsor here on the channel. And in this instance, they're going to be taking a portion of this video to use in their training videos on their website and compensating me for it. I do some video work for them separate from this channel, and this portion of this video will be going over there. They're going to be reviewing that tutorial section before it is posted to make sure I got all of the components accurately depicted. But otherwise, all the opinions in this video are my own. So let's get to work on this. We're going to get the DVR recording engine installed first, and then we're going to see how it all works. Now, like before with the Plex application, we're going to go to the HDHomerun website to grab the recording engine for the WD NAS. We're going to install that app directly on my MyCloud here. And the reason is that we want the app to always be running. So if I have a power outage or something like that, when the NAS comes back up, the recording engine will also load up automatically. Silicon Dust does have a software installer right now while they're still in beta that runs a script to get it running on a number of different NAS devices, even the single drive WD MyCloud. But if your NAS goes down and you have to restart it, you have to run that script again to get everything back up. So right now they've got a version here that will work with our PR2100. Other NAS devices will have similar applications either available in the App Store for your particular device or available for download. But at the time that I'm recording this, the WD has the only installable option right now. So I just installed or just downloaded that file. I'm going to run over here to my PR2100 control panel. We're going to go over to the app section, and just like we did for the Plex media server, we're going to install an app manually here with this link. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go over here to our downloads folder. We've got that file waiting for us. It's only 874K, very small. I'm going to open that up, and we'll let that do its thing. And now it looks like the HDHomerun DVR is installed and operating, and now we can move on to the next step. So now that we have the recording engine installed on the NAS, we're going to load up the HDHomerun app to start watching some live television. Now, if you bought an HDHomerun tuner, this app is free for live television, but if you want to use the DVR functionality, you have to pay for an annual license to the DVR service. And once you do that, this app will automatically turn into your DVR client also. It's very smart, just finds everything on the network and off it goes. And this will be the same interface, by the way, that you'll see on all of the other platforms that Silicon Dust supports with their devices. So all the stuff here you're going to see will work the same across Windows, Amazon devices, and everything else. So right now we're watching live television. This is the Weather Channel. And because the recording engine is now acting as the intermediary for live television on my network, we're only going to be using one tuner, even if more than one person in my home is watching the Weather Channel right now. So basically everything is streaming into the WD box here and then out to the client. So if my wife in the other room decides to turn on the Weather Channel, we're not going to lose two of our tuners to this activity, just one, because the tuning is all happening here inside of our NAS box. And this is a time-shifting application here, so while I'm in the live television, I can go in and pause it like I just did there. I can go ahead and start it back up again, and I can also rewind live TV if I want to. So you've got all the functionality here that you would typically find on a DVR, yet it's running off of our own equipment here, the WD NAS and the Android client here. Now, to get into the DVR interface, all you have to do here is just hit the back button, and that will bring us over to our DVR menu here. And I've got some recordings that I already made on the device, but this one here, Judge Judy, is actually still on air. This is recording right now, but I'm able to start watching from the beginning, even though the end is still being recorded. So if you get home maybe 30 minutes into your favorite hour-long show, you can start watching immediately, even while it is recording the end of it. So you can skip through the commercials perhaps and get to where you want to go. I can also leave it here, jump out, and it's going to keep a bookmark as to where I left off. So you can see there's a little green line there. I can maybe fast forward a little bit here and get a little further into the broadcast. And if I jump out here now, you can see that line is longer. So it's going to keep track of where I was, even with a recording that is in progress. Now, they've implemented a couple different ways that you can discover content, both to watch live and record. And we're going to start within the DVR interface here, but I'll also show you another way you can explore content through the live TV interface. So the first thing we're going to do here is go up to Discover using our remote here. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to bring us up to what is currently on television. So these are things that are airing right now on TV. You can see that we're still recording Judge Judy and Live PD here. But let's say I maybe want to record Ancient Aliens, for example. So I can go in here and it will pull up all the air times of Ancient Aliens that I might want to record. Now, if I go over here to Watch Now, it will go over to the live interface and start tuning it live like we saw before. But if I want to record the series, I can just push my button here and record the entire series. Now, what's happening right now, you can see, is that it's recording everything that is currently on the list. But if I go over here to Always and hit the button to Recent, this will limit things to just episodes that aired in the last 90 days. So you can see immediately it eliminated all this stuff because this first episode, for example, here was broadcast initially in 2015. So even though it's airing right now, it wasn't made in the last 90 days and therefore is not going to record. There's also some smarts going on behind the scenes. So it remembers what it previously recorded. So if it recorded an episode maybe a month ago that then suddenly shows up as a rerun, it will not pick it up again. So even though that one's 90 days or less than 90 days old, because it is something that broadcast already and was recorded, it knows not to record it again. So it does some things behind the scenes that you don't have to instruct it to do. It's also going to favor the HD broadcast, even though it's showing that it's going to record on both the HD and standard definition station. Because these are both airing at the same time, it will only go to the HD version of that show. And again, because it's going to grab Season 12, Episode 3. If that happens to show up again on that network, it's not going to record it again unless we explicitly tell it to do so. But let's say maybe we want to record The Hidden Empire here that's going to air a little later. I can just bring my cursor over to it, click on it once, and that will record that individual episode for us. So there is a good amount of intelligence at work here that doesn't require you to have to set settings. It will do things for you and assume you're always going to want the HD version of the show, and also assume that you do not want to re-record anything that you previously recorded. And you can also look ahead on what's coming up on broadcast television a little later. So as I scroll down this list here, you can see there are some timestamps, and these are all the shows that will begin at around 5:30 p.m. So you have the ability to look ahead. There's another way to do this, which you can do by channel, which I'll show you in a few minutes when we go back to the live TV interface. There's also a way to filter by content type. So for example, if I just want to see upcoming sports, I can go to sports here, and they really neatly organize stuff. So if I want to look for baseball games, for example, I can click on the baseball icon there, and let's say I'm a Mets fan and just want to see upcoming Mets games. Well, I can select one of these games here where the Mets are playing, and it's going to give me the option here to record any Mets game coming up. So it is smart enough to go out and look for that stuff, so you don't have to go and remember to record it. We can set this thing to automatically record any Mets game when it comes on the air. That's pretty cool, but I have a job to do, which is to make sure I get all of my wife's favorite TV shows ingested into this new recording engine before I shut off my old Windows Media Server here. So I just went up to the search icon there. I'm going to search for the first show that she wants me to record, which is Blue Bloods. And what I did here with my remote was typed everything in, but if you have a keyboard connected to your device, like a home theater keyboard or something, you can use that. Or what you could do, and this might be the best way to do it, is run the HDHomerun client on your computer, so you can type things in very easily, and that will automatically sync up to the WD My Cloud here, but it will also allow you to manage those recordings from any other client, including ones that use a remote, because it's all networked together, which makes it really simple. You can set up a recording on any device, and all of the other devices will be able to benefit from that recording after it's done. Now I'm going to go over here to Blue Bloods, and we're going to set this to record, and I'm going to hit record series, and I'm going to say recent, and what that means is that nothing is going to get recorded because there aren't any recent episodes that are currently slated to air, but that's fine, because once one is ready to air, it will pick that up and record it. But one thing you have to think about is conflict management, which is another important feature of a DVR, and they've built that into this one as well. So we've got this set to record now. I'm going to go over here to tasks, and you can see now we have a few one-time recordings set up here which take priority, but I also now have a bunch of shows here. So we have Ancient Aliens, Star Trek The Next Generation, and Blue Bloods. Now I want to make sure that my wife's show always gets recorded, so I'm going to move this up on the priority list here. And that way, if, for example, Ancient Aliens comes on at the same time Blue Bloods comes on, and there's only one tuner available, it will choose Blue Bloods over Ancient Aliens. And there's certain priorities in this house, and that one is one that I will certainly enforce on here, because I don't want her to miss her show. Now, if I want to adjust something after that task has been created, for example, maybe I'm done with Ancient Aliens, I can click on that task, and I can reset the recording strategy here, so I can go from recent to all if I want, or I can just delete the task completely and take it off my task list and never record it again. So you can see how you can manage some of your tasks after you set them up to record. So you can see there how you can adjust some of your active tasks to make sure nothing gets missed. And they also have a feature for padding. So if you're noticing that your favorite show is maybe starting a minute or two earlier than they're specifying in the listing, you can adjust for that here. So let me jump into Star Trek The Next Generation, for example. And if you look over here in the right-hand corner, there's a start and end buffer. And by default, it's going to give you 30 seconds before the start time and 30 seconds after, but you can adjust these to be as short or as long as you want. So you could add 2 or 3 minutes to the start of the show and to the end of the show to make sure that you get it all. So if you're noticing there are some discrepancies in your listings on certain shows, you can adjust that manually here to apply to all future recordings. Now, I did show you already how to play back a recording, but I wanted to show you some of the management of that now. So I'll go over here to our recorded section again. I'm going to click on the Judge Judy show because I have 2 episodes recorded in there now. And you can see we've got the one we watched earlier when it was going live. It retained that bookmark position. What I can do here is go back to the little refresh icon and restart it from the beginning if I want. So you can see here it is starting right from the very beginning of the recording. So that is in there. I'll go back over to it, and maybe I want to delete this now, so I can just click on the trash icon to the right here. And when I do that, I can set it to just delete the episode, or I can have it re-record the episode because maybe I got a bad recording, maybe something interrupted the show that I wanted to record. So the next time that episode airs, it will pick it up again. Otherwise, it won't, because remember, it will never re-record something it already did. So we're just going to delete that episode and move on there. So now I want to return to the live TV broadcast to show you another way to find content on the DVR system here. This is their live interface that you'll also get even without the DVR. And what you can do here, of course, is browse all of the active listings currently on air. And if I wanted to see perhaps what was coming up on CNN a little later, I can navigate over to it. And then if I hit the right button, you'll see what they call the slice view appear. And I believe they patented this. And what you can do is go ahead here, and maybe I want to record the 80s that's going to air a little later. I can click the button right on that. It's going to bring me right over to the listing for that show on the recorder here. I can hit record series and grab it there as well. Now remember, this is a networked DVR, so all of the other devices in your home have access to everything that any other device does. So for example, this little tablet here, because we're running the HDHomerun app, has exactly the same recordings that this NVIDIA Shield TV has, because they're all networked together through the NAS. So I could go back to my Judge Judy episode that we recorded earlier. I can click on here and start watching it just like I would on any TV in the house. Now, whatever device you use has to be in your home. This is a in-home solution only, but you can even pull it up on a mobile phone connected to your home Wi-Fi and get access to everything that you can get access to from a television with the very same interface. And it even retains the bookmarks too. So if I leave the playback here, it will leave a bookmark. And if I go back over to my television now and load up the Judge Judy recording here, you'll see that that bookmark is retained from the earlier playback. So that is the HDHomerun DVR in a nutshell. It's a little more robust for live TV watching and recording within the home, but we still may want to watch some of this content outside of the home, and that is where I see Plex working side by side with this. So what I want to do now is go ahead and set up Plex to start accessing those HDHomerun recordings. So let's switch over to my computer screen now, and you can see here we've got my WD MyCloud PR2100 with a blank slate here in my TV shows directory. So what I'm going to do here is click on the little period icon there and go over to Edit, and I'm going to specify a directory for it to find those shows in. So if we go over here to Browse for Media folder, what I'm going to do is go over to Public, because what the HDHomerun app does by default is it creates a HDHomerun folder inside of your Public folder to record its shows. And you can see here it's creating folders for all of the shows that we recorded over the course of this video. So I'm going to click on Add, and I'm going to click on Save Changes, and what will happen now is it's going to start keeping track of that directory. So you can see already now it's bringing in the shows that we recorded earlier. It's going to go out and fill in the metadata and all the thumbnails for that those shows as well here. So it's working automatically right now, synced up with that directory. If I were to delete something, for example, on the HDHomerun side, it will delete itself from Plex. But now I can also gain access to these shows when I'm not at home, which is one of the real strengths here of Plex. And you can see really how nicely these two things can work together. And if we go back over here to my tablet device, I'm running Plex now on this Android tablet. I can go back into the shows that we recorded and brought over to Plex. I can go and watch Judge Judy, for example, just by clicking the play button here. And this is going to work just like any other Plex media, but we're recording it with the HDHomerun recording engine. So you can see things just pop up here immediately, and I can start watching them via Plex. I can also watch them away from home or sync them up with my devices to go somewhere else with them and watch them offline. So there's a lot of different things that Plex brings to the mix that the HDHomerun DVR cannot do, but there are things that the HDHomerun DVR does better in the home, mainly its ability to time shift recordings in progress. Some of the other live TV watching, I think, is handled a little nicer right now, and it also passes the raw MPEG-2 video over to my NVIDIA Shield devices, which are capable of playing it back without having to load down the NAS with any additional transcoding. So there's a lot of reasons why I want to use HDHomerun DVR inside, but Plex outside. Plex is also going to work quite well for my iPad and iPhone, which do not support the HDHomerun client, so I can watch live TV through Plex, again using the HDHomerun tuner, but going through the NAS device here. So it looks like so far the NAS is able to handle the job here we're giving it, which is running the HDHomerun DVR recording engine as well as Plex. It can handle the Plex transcoding quite well for a couple of clients, as we saw in the prior video, and so far I'm very pleased with how this is performing. It's a low impact device from a power standpoint, but it looks like it has enough processing power to do all the things I'm going to be asking of it. The real test, though, will be coming up when my wife starts using this, because she hasn't yet tried this out. This is like the first day I'm getting everything going here. So we're going to come back to this maybe in a month or so, and I'll tell you what she thinks of it, because if she flat out rejects it, it's going to be a hard sell in other households. But I have a feeling she's going to like the way this is going to work. I think the interface is pretty clean, and she should be able to get up and running with it fairly easily, because she's been getting a little frustrated with the Windows Media Center lately, given some of the hiccups it's been experiencing as it's beginning to die. So we'll see how it all goes. And if you are desperate for a real channel guide, there's an option for that. So if you have the HDHomerun tuner and the app installed, if you go to the live channels option on your NVIDIA Shield or other Android TV device, you can get a program guide and start watching live television from this piece of software. So there's a lot of different options here when you have one of these HDHomerun tuners on your network, because they work with anything, and just about any supported software will find that HDHomerun on your network and just start watching TV with it. It's a very flexible piece of hardware, and even as you can see here with Plex and the HDHomerun product running side by side, you can run other things along with it also. You just have to be sure to keep your tuners free for all of those recordings. So right now my HDHomerun Prime has 3 tuners on it, so if I'm watching 3 things, a 4th thing cannot be recorded, but you can also add more tuners to the network and give yourself some more options there. We'll probably explore some of that a little later, but for now we're going to see how my wife adopts this whole new setup here, and I will keep you all posted on that. And this is Lon Seidman. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters, including Gold Level supporter Cody Falk. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/S.